One of the most common use cases I get asked about is how can I use AI to do translation? And the irony in that is Writer actually started as a machine translation company almost 10 years ago. So today we are going to use Writer Agent to do translations for us at scale. And I'm actually going to show you there's like a two-step approach that works really, really well that I've done with a number of other clients. So today I'll walk you through exactly how we tackle this type of use case and some of the flexibility that we can kind of bake in. So let's say we're using Apple here. I noticed that they have their English website, but they also have a version of this in French for France and all of the other markets that they have. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use Writer Agent to create a glossary of terms. And I'll show you why this is important in a second. So let's create that. I want you to compare the English version of the Apple website to the French version and create a comprehensive translation glossary so that I can use this to create translations in the future. And then what I'll do is I'll actually take in the Apple website here and then the same website in French, and we'll hit go. And this very first step isn't always necessary. A lot of the clients that we work with will have a ton of information about which terms are approved or not approved in their different markets. But in the event that you don't have this, that's okay. I'm going to show you how we can kind of get started creating one. So right now, Writer Agent is actually executing on this task list. So I'll pull that up. You can see here, we'll have the research and data collection phase. It's going to do analysis for us. It's then going to create a glossary of terms and rules, and then it'll finalize that for us into a document. We'll save that document, and this will serve as an input to the next agent that we leverage. So let's let this thing cook, and then we'll come back to it. So, okay, the agent is done, and it says it's created this complete translation glossary with 10 organized sections, product names, technical terms, marketing and promotional language, call to action phrases, key insights, brand consistency, creative adaptation, regional differences, French sites omit unavailable services like Apple Card. This is really interesting, and we can click the document here. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to save this as a PDF. So thank you, Writer Agent. This is perfect. I'm going to save this down, and you can see here we have this full document. This is exactly what we need, and this is going to serve as an input for the next agent. So let's get to building that one. So now let's create an agent. And what I want to do is I want to go into playbooks. This is how we create reusable plans that you can reference in Writer Agent or just run on a schedule. So basically, these are the ways that we share with our team all of the different agents that we're leveraging in a consistent way. So here's what I'll do. I will kind of speak my mind and share with this playbook generator what I want to actually accomplish here. So I want to create an Apple content translator agent. I will provide the pre-approved glossary of translation rules. This includes things around the style and the brand guidelines and what's approved or not approved. And you will already have access to this document. What the user will do is that they'll provide you with a URL to any Apple website, and you will have to translate that into French following all of those really specific guidelines. And just like that, we watch the magic unfold. We'll click transform, and this will build our first version of the Apple Content Translator. So you'll see here two things. A, it's asking me to provide the guidelines. So every time you see one of these little symbols here, this is a variable, right? So if I were to pretend to run this, you'll see here that I can upload the translation glossary and guidelines, and then I can enter the website URL. Now, I actually want to do something different. I know the agent is always going to have access to the translation guidelines. So let's go in, let's edit this prompt and say, you will already have access to all of the translation guidelines. So no need to make it a variable. And we can iterate on this super easily. And now you can see here, it's stripped that out. And now we only have one variable, which is exactly what I want. Now, the other thing I want to do is actually feed those guidelines into the agent. So if you remember, this is the glossary that we created a minute ago. I'm now going to just simply drop this in to the agent right here, and we'll be able to reference this for any time someone uses this playbook. And then lastly, we can always program in a voice, or we can change to the deliverable type, or we can actually create custom instructions for this agent. There's so much flexibility here, but let's take a stab and let's actually run this. So the way this will work is the user will provide a website URL. It'll extract all of the text for translation. It'll then apply all of those pre-approved rules. It'll then do the French content generation. It'll do a QA check, and then it'll complete it all and give it to us in a readable format. Sounds pretty good to me. So let's go back to the Apple website. Here's the new MacBook Air. Let's pick a product here. So here's a good page. I will just copy this and we will feed it to the agent, and let's hit run playbook. And this kicks off the agent. So we're going to now have this agent do exactly what we asked. It's going to take in that URL and then provide all of the content translated into French, but not just asking a model to translate content. This is now following and adhering to all of those guidelines that we've uploaded. So let's let this run and see how it turns out. Amazing. And there we have it. We have the full workflow ready to go. You can see here it's created this new file for us, which is all of the translations. It did its QA check. And then it said, here are the highlights. All Apple product names are kept in English. Technical terms follow the glossary exactly. Creative adaptations, speed of lightness, the chip that zips, dream team, quality standards, no grammatical errors detected. I'm glad that was on their official website. So you can see here, and all of the deliverables that were created by the agent just live in this deliverables tab. So you can see all of the raw translations here. So hope you found that interesting. If you want to set up your own translation agent, let me know, here to help. Thanks.